Good everyone, on this video today we have a Rare Vehicles episode on the He-112 B1U2 for Germany. Now, of course, if you've been keeping up with the game's implementations as of the last year or so, you will know that this plane is pretty much no longer gettable. You can't really get this plane anymore. And there's actually a pretty good reason for that. So the He-112 B1U2 is the Hungarian version of the plane, I would call it that. And this was essentially purchasable either separately for 550 GE, or you got this thing as part of the German starter pack, which also had the 140-1 SPAA light tank mix thing. The Seal Clubber of low tier, pretty much. Other than the 2C biz, a well-played 2C biz, that is. So, what does this plane change from the one that you've obviously seen me review in the Italian tree? Absolutely nothing. The main difference is you can, of course, get the same camouflages as on this plane, and you can, of course, put it in a proper Hungarian Air Force camouflage. But of course, there is also an unlockable Romanian Air Force camouflage, which I think is quite nice. But if we go to the one in the Italian tree, which is also quite nice, it's the one for Romania. So you can still put the Hungarian skins on it. It's just they're exactly the same plane. It's just one is, of course, yeah. You can't get this one in the German tree anymore. So, of course, it doesn't really change much from the 112B0 in the tech tree. In fact, I don't think it even changes anything from what I've looked over it. Yeah. This plane is not really the most, shall we say, talk about vehicle, so to speak. Like, I can't really say that there's any difference that I've noticed. The one after in this series, the B2U2, does have at least one change, and, well, technically two, because its flight model is a little bit different. But that at least is a little bit more interesting than this plane. But of course, if you do not get this plane, you do not have access to it in Germany anymore. It's very similar to the Romanian duck that's now in the Italian tree. If you did not get it in Germany, you do not have it now. So don't expect them to come back anytime soon, if at all. But anyway, let's get in and let's get cracking with this little vehicle. Now, of course, I'm used to the B2U2, because obviously that's the most recent one that I've played. Obviously, I have played the B1U2 for the Italian review, so there is that, but that was a while ago, and the B2U2 I took out in Tank Hobby and just to see how it was doing, and that plane's still pretty good, so I can't fault that. But we'll just have to see how we go. Anywho, I'll see you on the first match. And about 20 seconds later, we get our first match on El Alamein, which is actually not a good map for us, because this aircraft does have a bit of an overheating problem, so that's not great, but we'll just have to see, really. So, let's see how we do with this thing. It's been a while since I've touched the 112, like I said. The B2U2 I took out in Tank Hobby like 3 months ago. I just don't really play these things because I have no reason to. Because they're just not... They're not consistent, and they're also not really meta in any way, shape, or form. And given we're in a 3-0 match, that is also not exactly meta, but we'll see how we do. End of the day, I'm not bothered about results as long as I at least get something out of the vehicle. And I'm going to immediately turn because I think we might have a team killer. Maybe a pair of team killers. We'll just have to see. I'm just watching these two right now, because I don't trust either of them. You two gonna behave? Yeah? Good. I'm still gonna climb a little bit to the left though, because I don't trust either of you. But yeah, this is quite a big map, and as I said, the overheating is really gonna affect us, so I'm going to put myself into a suitable climb angle. It's not the optimal climb angle for this plane. And I will see you all once we get into the match a bit more. Well, welcome back. We've climbed ourselves up to altitude, but most of the enemy team is on the deck, unfortunately. The only thing that isn't is that PBM Mariner, so I'm not going to be a bomber zombie, because that's not my cup of tea, really. I'm going to go for the threats that actually matter, such as this Hurricane, who has just taken out our Condor, and appears to be using the Mark 1B, not the C. Oh, that's the 2... Is it the 2C for the Hurricane? I can't bloody remember. Now, back in the day, funnily enough, this is actually quite a good point to make here, is the Hurricane and the 112 used to be bitter rivals. They still kind of are, but the Hurricane doesn't really get to fight these things anymore. Okay, he knows his stuff, that's alright. Thank God I had the airspeed then. So, they used to be a bit of rivals, and the thing is it really depended on the pilot, and obviously energy states and stuff like that. It didn't per se depend on the planes, because they were pretty evenly matched. Like, the 112 had a slight speed advantage, it had a roll rate advantage, and they climbed pretty similarly. Like, they didn't really have a... Like, they didn't really have a performance advantage over each other. Like, as I said, the 112 is slightly faster, but that's really it in terms of performance. They climbed about the same, they handled about the same. Obviously, the Hurricane does have a superior turn, which is what we're trying to avoid here. But overall, they are pretty good rivals, and they were pretty good rivals. I'm going to bait for this teammate here in the IAR. But of course, I'm watching him because he obviously did have some, shall I say, questionable choices earlier on. And well, he's just binned it, so that doesn't help. And then comes the P400, which the teammate decided to not let me know about. So we do have some damage. Obviously, the Hurricane has also taken some damage. We've just got to hope now the P400 doesn't have a shot. And I think he's about to bin it as well. Now, the P400 is a little bit different in terms of its rivalry to the 112. The 112 loses the speed advantage it had over the Hurricane. The P400 is obviously quite a faster aircraft, and you'll notice I'm not exactly playing how I should be. I just don't care. Like, I'm not here to seal club or anything like that. I'm just here to just chill. If I wanted to play optimally, we wouldn't be damaged as much as we are. So, there you go. But yeah, so the 112 and the Hurricane, these two little fellas had quite a bitter rivalry, and there was a lot of debate back in the early days of what was better, the Hurricane or the 112, and a lot of people would say the Hurricane. I actually argue the 112. Not because of me winning that engagement, but like, just in general. Nope. Now, the MS-410, this plane never really fought against back in the day, because the MS-410 didn't really exist back then. France wasn't added till, I think, 2017, something like that? I don't remember, but the 112 against the MS-410 is not really a fair fight for the MS-410. The MS is good, but it's not as good as the 112. It has more consistent firepower, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. And he's trying to force an overshoot here, so I'm just going to cut my throttle. I've just put some 792 in his wing, so now he's really struggling. And is he going to pull out of that? He is, but not easily. Trying to aim for that engine, because the engine on the MS is quite vulnerable to fires. There we go. Nice and toasty. You can smell the marshmallows. And splash 3. Bear in mind, we did all that fighting with obviously the damage from the hurricane. That wasn't exactly easy going. This thing can still do some work. Like, if we was facing something 3-0 and meta, we would be fucked. There's no polite way of putting it for the 112. But it's not too bad. Like, you know, it's alright. It's just not... It's not meta, and obviously there we wasn't exactly playing how we should, but again, I'm not here to play optimally. I'm just here to have a bit of fun. So, I think we're coping with that just fine. So I think now that we're obviously quite badly damaged, we're low on ammunition for, well, I say low. We're out of cannon for the obvious choice, and the MGs, they'll last us a bit longer, so I'm going to take out some ground targets. But then we're just going to fly back to base. So we'll just have to see. What's going on over there? It just said bro in the chat. Is something going on over there? I think they're shooting at each other. I'm not sure. The 109's already been shooting since the start of the match at people, and like... If the 88 puts him down for that, I don't blame him, I'll be brutally honest. Because I already didn't trust the 109, so... There we go. Like I said, I'm not playing optimally. This is not how you should play a 112. You shouldn't be taking headers with hurricanes. You shouldn't be really doing half the stuff that I've done in this match. But fact is that this plane did beat its bitter rival. And it's still... like, it's capable. It's not competitive against most of the meta planes it will run into. But, you know, it's something. And the 109 just team killed the Ju-88. Yeah, I'm putting this guy down. Like, I don't care if I have to ram him. I will put this prick down. Because I already didn't trust him. And now he's just Team K or TK to friendly for no reason. Like, come on. What is it with low tier these days? Just been so freaking toxic. I'd love to know. Because to be brutally honest, I'm kind of getting sick of it. Right, well I'm going to fly back to base. Get some bullets, and then I'm going to put that prick down, and then hopefully kill the PBM, maybe. We'll see. And then we can maybe call this an ace match. See you in a few. Well, welcome back to the hangar. As you can tell, the match ended as soon as I landed. But I had to quickly speak here because... box. And that's actually usable. So, thank you, Gaijin. Just thank God it's not another talisman. Unfortunately, the twat in the 109 did not get to have his just desserts. I didn't have the performance to catch him, because I was going to ram him, as I said. But yeah, I didn't have the performance to catch him, so yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, this is definitely a... like, it's not a competitive plane in terms of, like, the meta or whatever. But it's just nice to have it in the collection, because obviously now this is considered a rare vehicle. So, that's at least something. But of course, next up in the series is the B2U2, which has the better flight model, and one other difference. But of course, I'll leave you to look at the differences if you go back a few seconds in the video. Well, I say that. You can look at the 112 in the hangar, and you can just see that there. So, yeah, there is a difference, and it's right there, the engine. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I hope you enjoyed seeing the B1U2 in action, and I will see you all on the next one.